James, the Board of Aldermen recently recognized this area for its historic significance. Why does that matter to you, and what message do you think it sends the city?
Yeah, we were going through the historical records, and really we believe this is the first time the Board of Aldermen in the city of St. Louis itself has acknowledged the preservation of the mounds as important to the city's history. So again, understanding this significance of really connecting the city of St. Louis with the Osage Nation, which is a tribal nation based in Oklahoma now, but ancestrally connected here in St. Louis. So it's really kind of a landmark moment, a celebration from the Board of Aldermen, from Mayor Kara Spencer, of really reconnecting these histories, but also reconnecting a relationship here in the present.
I imagine due to lack of documentation, it might be hard to answer a question like this with very many specifics, but can you take us back in time, tell us a little bit of the history of the mound itself?
So many people know Cahokia mounds. This is a mound that is part of that larger grouping. So the Mississippian people were settled here, and it was a city the size of London at the time, the largest city in the Americas, really. And the mound groupings have a range of significance, but Sugarloaf Mound is what's known as a platform mound. It was also thought to be perhaps a signal mound. It's right on the river, so you could understand that you're entering Mississippian territory, you're entering the Cahokia region, but also it's thought to be visible all the way to Cahokia and Monk's Mound. So there's ceremonial significance. Certainly we don't know all the ways in which that is the case, but it's what's known as a platform mound, so it's kind of a stepped structure that was visible from the river, but also visible from many places around.
I wonder what the culture was like around here at that time.
I'm really not an expert on the Mississippian culture, but I mean, it was a dynamic, advanced civilization, sophisticated government, obviously very advanced kind of building techniques. If you go to Monk's Mound, for example, out at Cahokia, it's the largest earthwork in the Americas. It was a seat of government, a seat of power, but a civilization that really stretched its influences to present-day Mexico, up the Mississippi, and kind of throughout present-day United States. So it's really, it's a remnant, a marker of a really advanced, complex society with kind of, historic significance that I think is still being unearthed today.
All right, take us from that time back then to the settlement of the city of St. Louis. What was that transition like with all the settlers coming in?
So in the settlement of St. Louis, first by the French and arriving to this area, the mounds were kind of appear throughout the historic record. There was an understanding. There were often debates about what their purpose were they natural formations or man-made. I think it's very clear to any kind of close look, unbiased viewer and historian at the time that these were man-made structures. The Mississippian people were not active at the time of European settlement, though, so it had already kind of splintered into many different tribes that were still in this area, including the Osage Nation that traces their lineage to the Mississippian people.
All right, and this recent recognition we saw at City Hall and in St. Louis, what does it mean modern day for the people of the Osage Nation?
I think this is a kind of monumental shift. The Osage Nation, again, tribal government based in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, where the tribe was removed from Missouri and lands around it to the reservation there. But this kind of reconnection back to St. Louis is one step among many steps of kind of acknowledging the influence on the land here, the people and the place that we now occupy. It's, I think, really incumbent on us as residents of this land to honor and celebrate that, and also see what we can do to kind of celebrate their work here and acknowledge our own sort of presence on this land. But for the Osage, I think coming back and being celebrated by the Board of Aldermen, it really is a reconnection of a tribal government with our city government. And I think that is, the start of a much longer relationship, even beyond the kind of return of Sugarloaf Mound, but also, I hope, leads to many more collaborations in the future.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.